Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Dr. Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
It is. Anytime we can get together to talk about the community, it's phenomenal.
And speaking of the community, we're going to be talking about public safety.
Public safety, and we have a brother here that's doing some things that's going to help us to see some things maybe a little differently these days.
Yeah, he's been very concerned about it, Gregory Merriweather.
Yes, the mighty Gregory Merriweather.
Yeah, and now he's in a place where he can actually do
Make a
even
difference.
more.
Make a difference.
Make a difference.
And we're going to hold him accountable to that too.
As well we should.
He's our friend, and we can do that to friends.
Yeah. So let's
I'm happy for him.
Me too.
Yeah.
And speaking of friends, let's thank our sponsors.
Lee Carsuck and Crawley, who's been with us, doing a great job. We want to thank you for your continued support. If you need a lawyer, give them a call. They'll be there to help you in any aspect. If they can't help you, they'll refer you to somebody that can. Then the Fervent Care Christian Academy. It's a great school for young children to get started. It's a Christian academy where Christ is concerned about every child. And you need to do that. Check them out and give them a call.
And we want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, WHMB TV 40, where you can watch this show when it's over, as well as other ones that you might have missed, and like us on Facebook.
Yeah, like us on Facebook. And I like that too, because we're there for your comfort. We're there to give you information that we think is pertinent for our community.
We have a lot to share with you. I think you're going to be really pleased with what we have for you on today. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're joined by Gregory Merriweather.
Right.
With regard to community and crime. He is the representing Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department as Community Strategic Initiatives Liaison.
Yeah. That's a big title, brother.
Man, it's a big title.
Welcome to the show.
Man, thank you guys, man. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
You guys are doing some great things, but I'm very thankful for being here.
Yeah.
And we're thankful for having you. Since last you were here, of course, you had your own social media show and doing some things there. And now you're here doing something different. So tell us what this is about.
Well, the Community Strategic Initiatives Liaison. Well, as you all know, I've always worked behind the scenes in the community. I've developed some relationships, but I think this has come by way of being one who has held people accountable. Chief Roach, came to me and we discussed this. We've always discussed a lot of things, but I think it came by way of me being in their ear all the time about what it looked like to the community. So this position will entail me basically being an inside voice of what the community sees or hears when it comes from IMPD. But also I'll be working with public safety and public health and safety with crime reduction. And then I'll also be working or having a seat on the Marion County Reentry Coalition. Okay. So this position is really heavily involved in the community and really bringing some accountability as well as, some outreach from within the confines of the city-county building.
I know one of the foremost things on folks' minds is the high homicide rate.
Sure.
Another record year of homicides in 2018. I never like to look at it as being when you have a person get killed in 2019, it's 1, it's 2. But when we start tabulating those numbers, we get into hundreds and hundreds of people.
Sure.
How does your position or your responsibility now help to turn that around?
Sure. I think my approach is always one. Let's just say the mayor has put together a team with Shauna Majors and their team to focus on crime reduction. So I will work with them. From my perspective, I'm really more so looking at developing the relationship with the entire community. I think that once you are able to solidify a relationship inside the community, then the community becomes an ally to fight crime.
Which, Greg, in my estimation,
Sure.
City County building as it relates at this particular engagement has just been engagement. It's just been a word.
Sure.
Engagement is an action word.
Absolutely.
And we've seen a lot of things that transpired, but it was not authentic engagement.
Sure. Okay.
Authentic engagement means that you got to get down there and find out what's happening.
Yep.
And see what's wrong with the community.
Right.
You know, the mayor said for some time he owns the homicide rate. That is the farthest from the truth. Okay. No mayor in these 50 some odd states can ever own a homicide situation. The people who own, in my estimation, the homicide situation are those communities.
Sure.
Because that's where those homicides take place. If you see a homicide take place and you fail to report it or say anything about it, you fail to take ownership of it.
I agree.
It does not mean that we're not saying be a snitch, but I'm just basically saying our communities are sick. They got some problems, and we need somebody that's from the city-county building that will lend themselves to the community to let them know that you can trust me in giving information that will help eradicate some of the things in the community. I think that's what, I'm hoping that's what you're trying to do.
Absolutely, that's exactly it. Because, I mean, you guys know it's been sort of different for me walking in and out of the city-county building, or walking into meetings or groups that I once walked in as just Greg Merriweather being Greg Merriweather. I do think that it has brought a breath of fresh air to the community, because they know that I've always been there for them. Right. And I know on the inside, they know that I would never relinquish that. And so I have an intimate relationship with the community, and she'll continue to have an intimate relationship with the community, because I truly believe in those people. I believe in the community. I'm part of the community, and I want to see the community get what the community deserves.
Well, you know, I'm a firm believer. If you take care of the community, whether you believe it or not, the community is going to take care of you.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
I don't think they understand that. A lot of people don't understand that. And people in the community don't mind being taken care of if you allow them to take care of you.
I agree.
I've seen that firsthand. I've felt it firsthand.
Well, let me ask you, since you are now representing IMPD,
Sure.
and changing the mindset of folks in the community, particularly the black community, not trusting the police, having issues with working well with the police. Now you're the liaison. How do you plan to change folks' minds?
Well, I think initially, I have to make my presence felt inside, with the backing of Chief Roach, to still allow me to be who I've always been, the person who says, hey, that's not gonna fly, that doesn't look right, that doesn't sound right, what I'm seeing is this. And I've always done that, whether it been in messaging, whether it been in recruiting, whether it's been in a killing. I've always been pretty candid about that. And I believe that with his backing, I can continue to do that. On the flip side, going into the community, my promise to the community is to continue to be that voice and say, you can trust me with that. Because when it's all said and done, again, it's not about us, it's not about a rival or a fight. It's about me being in the middle trying to bring two things together by being the person that says I'm willing to sacrifice for both. And if both are willing, and if I can, and my position in this is, if I can cross over and go in that building, then they should believe that it's possible for us to work together. Because anyone who knows me knows that that's probably not the ideal space that I would have walked into. Right. That's just the truth.
Right.
So when it comes to strategic initiatives, are you the guy now where folks who have evidence-based programs can work with you to work with IMPD to tap into some of those resources?
Absolutely. The things we'll do, we will still work with public health and safety with Shauna Majors and her team, but also I'll have my role as well. So yes, I'm in addition to that as well. So yes, either or. But yeah, people can reach out to me at any time, and I'm looking forward to being that person that says I will be out in the community finding resources. I will also be out in the community making sure the people that say they have resources do what they say they do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. You've been a great guest, as always. We appreciate you so much. All the best to
Absolutely.
Mr. Merriweather.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us. We have the rundown in just a bit, so stay with us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, and as I indicated just before the break,
Yes.
the rundown is going to be coming up after this next segment.
Yes, it will be. Well, we're going to
we'll
learn
float right into
We're
it.
going to float right into it, yeah.
Good segue.
Lisa, I'm so happy to have you with us
Thank
today.
you.
This is an unusual practice, and we're happy that you're going to explain it to Central Indiana. And we're going to try to get James to try it first.
Excellent.
And then we'll see what happens.
guinea pig.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
When you ask anybody how they're doing, typically people say, I'm good, I'm busy. And, to be busy is a good thing, but to be overly busy can cause a lot of problems. We have tons of stress, people have a hard time sleeping, just kind of calming the chaos. And floating is a wonderful remedy and a really easy practice for calming the chaos and kind of just pushing the reboot button on your brain.
Where
and
did
body.
it originate from?
It's a very interesting question. It's about a 60-year-old practice, and there was a psychologist who kind of invented the idea. He wanted to get out of his body and into his mind, so it was a little hippy-dippy-trippy. We've kind of brought it mainstream so that everybody can really just relax and rest and recover. It's great for people who have, like I said, sleep problems, people who struggle with chronic pain. It's great for sports and athletic recovery. And so it's really wonderful for almost anybody who needs to just take some time, get off of your phones, really reconnect with your brain and your body. And it's a great time of meditation. Some people pray when they're in the float tank. Some people make a to-do list. But most of the time, it's just a way of allowing your body to rest and have a little bit of remedy from the chaos.
So how does that work out for people who have challenges with closed-in spaces?
We actually have 6 private rooms. 3 of them are more traditional pods, like if you've seen, almost like a clamshell type of a pod. And then 3 rooms are completely open pools. They're open to the ceiling. So for people who have claustrophobia or people who are a little bit of a taller or bigger stature, it's wonderful for those types of people to float. And it's 3 really simple things where you can get almost anywhere, but you can't get them together. And those 3 things all start with as pastors, they're all alliterative. They start with the letter S. The first one is salt. It's 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt. So similar to the Dead Sea,
Yes.
where your body cannot sink. Doesn't matter how big or how small you are going to float. And so what that does is Epsom salt has magnesium sulfate, and our bodies need magnesium to help with enzymatic processes. It's mood stabilizing, and it really helps with inflammation and swelling. So that's the first thing. The second thing is suspension. Because you are in 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt and purified water, 10 inches only, you are suspended. And what that does is that lengthens your spine, it gives you a deep stretch, and it really allows you to fully relax. We stay in this position with this
Right.
bowling ball head on our shoulders. And so to be able to surrender and just lay back and relax is a position that's unnatural but very important for our body. So salt and suspension. And the third one is probably the most important. It's silence. We very rarely get a chance to just be quiet and be still. And so this gives you an opportunity to do that in a 1-hour period of time, to have all of those 3 things together: the salt, the suspension, and the silence.
So Lisa, you co-founded this company,
I
A Place to
did.
Float. What precipitated that?
That's a great question. I own a business, a very busy business. I have 5 children, and so the chaos is my second
have
nature.
5 children?
I have 5 children. Yes, sir.
You don't look like you have one.
That's very nice of you. Yeah.
I guess floating pays off then.
I'm a walking testimonial.
Yeah.
So my husband and our business partner and I, we started talking about how chaotic life is. And we wanted to kind of bring a remedy to people who are creatives, to busy entrepreneurs, to busy professionals, to parents, athletes, that were something that was easy to do, that was helpful for people's brains and bodies, and floating tended to be the right answer to that. So we opened the Float Center about 18 months ago in January of 2017. We are right downtown next to Lucas Oil, and it kind of was birthed out of our own need for some calm to the chaos.
Look right in that camera and tell everybody how to get to the Float Center.
Okay, we are right downtown next to Lucas Oil at 425 West South Street, and we are just west of Lucas Oil, just south of the JW Marriott downtown.
Now, I read that you all have a monthly membership.
We do.
And so how much does something like this cost if you don't have a monthly membership?
Our first floats are $45 a piece to try it out. And then if you like it, we actually recommend that floating is a practice, just like anything, like eating right or exercise or yoga or things like that, that you do it as a practice. Well, in order to do that, we needed to make it affordable and approachable and accessible for people. So we have a monthly membership of $109, and it's an unlimited monthly membership. You can float every day with us if you want. Most people float 1 to 2 days a week with us. It helps for sleeping. It helps with just creative ideas. It helps to relax your body, and the effects of that last about 3 to 4 days. So for $109, come float with us once a week, twice a week, even more if you'd like to. But we want to make sure that you get the rest and relaxation that you need, and a really simple delivery method for doing that.
What's your theme song? Remember that song called Float On?
I'd like you to sing it to me.
No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, that'd be a good theme song for you.
But
Who
that
used to
is-
sing that song?
I don't know.
That's a
Yeah.
great question, though.
That
People
predates
do
me.
Yeah,
ask.
predate.
He's too young to remember that.
Yeah.
People do
The
ask.
Floaters sung it, actually.
No, they didn't. That was the name of it?
Yeah, it was Float
Float
On.
On.
Yeah.
You'll remember and you'll start singing it, and then
you
it'll
need
get
to
to
play
you.
that in your...
He can sing that when he comes.
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, you got to go first.
So people always ask, what happens, what's the protocol for floating? So the first thing, and most people wonder, can I float in my bathing suit? Do we float in a t-shirt? You can. We recommend that you float in your skin. It's a purified water. We have housekeeping in between every single float, so you're going to get completely pure water and solution every single time that you float.
Wow.
And because it's a quiet environment, you can float with a small light on, you can float by having spa music, but silence is really the way to do it properly.
Okay.
Wow.
So, or you can listen to Float On and he can sing it for you.
No.
That's a challenge because I like music around me a lot, but spending 60 minutes in quiet, I look forward to that. Let me ask this question. We have just over a couple of minutes left. Women who are dealing with menopause, hot flashes, any benefit?
Yeah. So for people that have some of those issues, some hormonal issues, first of all, the magnesium that comes from just natural magnesium sulfate is wonderful for women who are going through some of those changes, because our bodies, especially women, need magnesium. Because the temperature of the water and the temperature of the air is almost identical to your body and your skin, you're not going to have elevated hot flashes. We've actually been told by a lot of women in those age ranges that it helps to kind of temper some of that as well. So the water temperature is 95 degrees. The air is 85 degrees. It does not feel like a hot tub. It does not feel like a sauna. It's just the perfect temperature for most people. And for people who suffer from anxiety, stress-related issues, some depression, like I said, sleeplessness, this is a wonderful remedy to that. No pharmaceuticals. You can just come and you float in water and salt. That's
In your
all
skin.
it is. In your skin, floating in your skin.
So we hope that people will avail themselves to this service. Are you all one of the only ones in town, or are you aware of others?
There are a couple of smaller locations. It's a fairly new or renewed practice, even though it's a 60-year-old idea. There's not a lot of float centers around the United States right now, but they're gaining in popularity. A lot of elite athletes and professionals have made it more popular. Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors is one of the biggest float advocates. He says it's his secret sauce for making those shots. So
Yeah.
he floats after almost every one of his training sessions or his games, and elite athletes will float with us. But we open it up for everybody. You don't have to be an elite athlete to come float with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All the
pleasure.
best. We'll be praying for y'all's success.
Thank you. Float on.
And thank you all. The rundown is coming up next. We'll be back after this.
Real people, real voices, keep it real.
Well, welcome back to the highly anticipated rundown.
Yes, we've been waiting on this one. Yeah, we're happy to have you back with us, man. I'm telling you, we had a great opportunity to talk with Lisa Whitman, I believe it is.
And Gregory Merriweather.
And Gregory Merriweather, who has a new position with the IMPD Police Department. I used to say IMPD, but then it's just been a great segment. But the floating,
That's interesting.
It's interesting. I mean, I have a pamphlet here. I'm going to look at it and.
Yeah, you got to try it. You
You've
have to
tried
try
it.
it. I've done it twice.
Did you do the open or the pod?
I did the pod, and it's like a big clamshell, and you're laying in there floating, and in
You
silence.
didn't get claustrophobic? You're not claustrophobic?
No, I didn't get claustrophobic.
Did you fall asleep?
I tried to fall asleep.
Really?
I did. But, it's sort of like, when you're meditating in a quiet room, it's kind of hard to turn your brain off. And it was kind of hard for me to turn my brain off. But the more you go, the more relaxed you are.
Faith, you can turn your brain off?
I can turn it off a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to get it back on.
Okay.
Nah, I caught that.
Well, that I think it's going to help a lot of people because a lot of people are into fitness now. So that will be very helpful. And I think what we had with Gregory Merriweather talking about public safety and the stress that comes from that.
Right.
And his job as a liaison between the community and the police department, it's going to be interesting
He needs to float.
how that plays out.
Yeah, he needs to
He'll
float.
need a couple of floats.
Yeah.
He may need
A
to float.
week.
Well, I'm happy for Mr. Merriweather. I really am. He's been working in the community, doing what he can to inform the community about those things, and he's some of the things he's talked about has not always been popular for the constituents that well, not the constituency, but those who are at the city county, but it has not always been popular. And to see him in this position, and then to see how he's going to make the adjustment to make sure he still stays in contact with the community as he works with the police department is going to be very interesting. I'm going to watch that and pray for him.
Yeah.
Pray for him because engagement is just what it is down there. It's just engagement. It's just not really engagement.
Yeah.
It's just a term right now.
I hope he can be a connector for folks who have programs,
Right.
like our youth jobs program.
Yeah.
The police department used to have a public safety fund
For that.
for programs like
Right,
that.
right.
And hopefully he can be one that will help people to get funding.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm praying for him. I think it's a great opportunity for the city of Indianapolis to have him in that position.
And we thank you for being with us on today. We look forward to our next time together. Have a great day.